It finally happened. I was pushed over the edge in my recent beach fishing trip up to Mason Inlet in Wrightsville, North Carolina. Let me tell you what the problem was that I encountered and the significant solution and investment I made to solve it. Stay tuned. I had to face up to the facts. I could not get access to where I wanted to fish on the beach with my normal mountain bike, even though it was low tide. Check out this soft sand right here. I could not believe this. We were sinking in up to 4 inches in spots, and the 2-inch tires were failing. We ended up having to push a lot of the distance. And normally at dead low tide when we went out, it was easy to get out there on the hard packed sand. Well, sand moves all the time. And when you have a lot of storms and rain and things like that, it gets soft and mushy. And I realized that if I did not want to restrict my ability to get to where I wanted to go, I needed to get a fat tar bike. And given the depth of the sand you see here, I knew I needed to have something with power assist. So I broke down and I got an e-bike. It arrived today. I'm going to go out and pick it up, drag it back in here to the shop, and show you what I got, get it set up, and go through some of the key features on it. I'm pumped! I decided to wait till the morning when I'm fresh. Now I'm going to take this thing out to my shop. I'm going to evict my kayak, and we're going to get this thing unboxed and set up. A little bit unconventional start here to this video in that I'm going to start at the end and move back to what would normally be the beginning. You can see I've fully assembled the bike behind me, and I wanted to go through why I decided to get an e-bike and why this particular one, because I'm sure that's what many people are curious about. You can see assembly stuff pretty much everywhere, but I'll take you through some of the things that I commented on in terms of getting this thing put together. So you can see from the intro that my primary use for this bike is going to be to get me to where I want to fish on the beach. And it's got to be able to work through mushy sand, sandy sand, as well as the hard pack. And that's where I decided I really needed to get a fat tar bike. And also, after really struggling to get back the other day, I realized that you need some pedal assist when you're sinking down into that soft shifting sand. And I'm not getting any younger. I'm pushing 70 right now. I'm a senior. I hate that unless I'm asking for a discount someplace. And I realize that I want to keep doing what I'm doing, you know, Steve things, for years and years and years. And so why not invest in a great e-bike now to be able to do those things going forward? Now, speaking of fishing, one of the things about this one is it is IPX6 rated, which means that it is waterproof to the point where it will withstand an intense stream of water. Now, I'm not going to go out and ride and surf in this. I'm not going to ford streams in the mountains with it because that would require IPX7 or 8. That's not what e-bikes are built for. Now, this particular one, as you can see from this chart right here, kind of beats out a lot of the major competitors in terms of the basic specs. It's got a 750 watt battery. It's got a 52 volt battery that'll put out 15 amps, although I think you can customize that a little bit. And that all translates to range and power. And in fact, it comes default at 7 levels of power assist, but using the LCD readout, you could actually customize that up to 9 levels. All that translates to range and speed. Now, the manufacturer says that this has a nominal range of between 30 and 55 miles an hour, but of course that's dependent on where you're going, the terrain you're going over, how much weight you're putting on it, and things like that. But even at 30 miles an hour, and it's all flat here in Wilmington, North Carolina, I know I can get over to Carolina Beach Inlet with all my fishing gear and back and negotiate the 2 miles of sand to get to where I want to fish with no problem. The one thing that I really enjoy on this is that I can be compliant with North Carolina laws on this, because I can customize via the LCD the max speed of this. And I have to set that at 20 miles an hour to make sure that I'm compliant with North Carolina regulations. So as soon as you start talking about going 20 miles an hour, you got to talk about safety. This has a high quality mechanical braking system. The Kendra fat tires are puncture resistant, and that's going to be important to me as I run across sharp shells and oyster beds and things like that to get to where I want to fish. It's got a very comfortable seat, and it's got a handlebar that, instead of being flat, kind of comes up in a curve and is adjustable back, which means that I can ride upright, which is, to me, much more comfortable than having to lean forward and tilt your head up a little bit to see what's ahead of you. It's got the other standard safety stuff as well. Good headlight, tail light, brake lights, which is key when you're riding in a bike lane and people are whizzing by you. You don't want to get bowled over. Heck, it even has a bell. And if you're riding on the Chesapeake and Ohio towpath in Maryland and West Virginia, that's a requirement to be on that towpath. The other thing is when I ride around on this, it's got a very comfortable hand grip. Everything seems to be easy to adjust. I can adjust the brakes. The derailleur, when I adjusted that as part of the setup, was very easy to do. It just made right. I mean, even the little things. It's got a chain guard right here to keep from chipping the paint. My mountain bike didn't come with that. And I think I spent, if I had bought that one new, it would have cost about half of what this one costs. There you go. The key reasons and rationale up front. In a subsequent video, I'll go through the LCD and things like that, because I want to take it out, run around a little more than I have, and make sure that I understand the capabilities before I expose those to you. Now, I plan on making a couple more videos on this. Obviously, I've got to customize it. Oh, you know, one of the great things this comes with, it already comes with a bike rack in the back. So I don't need to go spend 50 bucks or whatever I spent on my mountain bike to get one of those. Even has a nice strap. I can just see that there's a milk crate in this bike's future to haul all my fishing stuff. Well, enough said. That's kind of the meat of why I went with this. All set for the test ride. The first thing I want to check is the walk assistance, because as a beach bike fisherman, I'll need that to get up over the ramps and down through the initial sand to the hard pack where you'd actually get on the seat and get going. And to do that, you basically just press down the minus button for 2 seconds and then it'll kick in. That moves pretty fast. I need to see if I can adjust that starting speed, probably in there someplace. Well, let's get going. Let's see how this works and have some fun. Out here running in power level 2, and I feel like I'm getting the workout that I want. I've got tension on my legs, so I'm not just coasting. And what I'm doing is I'm running it up to about 15 miles an hour and then putting on the brakes, slowing down, not stopping, and then feathering them out to go ahead and bed them. Okay, let me try a throttle. Holy mackerel. That thing just picks up and goes. Well, let me go down this side road again. Now let's go off-road here for a little bit. No problems. Good.
It's a huge bicycle.
Yeah, electric. No, he's still gonna work out. Okay, here we go. Absolutely no power assist. Second gear. Third gear. This cruises just like my mountain bike. Fourth gear. Fifth gear. Well, this is reassuring to know that if I run out of gas, or juice in this case, I can get back no problem. Okay, seventh gear, it's a little bit of a challenge. Hey, John. Good. Well, a few thoughts about that test ride. I think that thing is awesome. It's full of power. And one of the things I learned is that as you stop, you ought to hit the minus to go ahead and get down to power assist level 1, because otherwise when you start going again, you'll start off in the same power assist as you stopped. But I think this is going to be an awesome bike. So in the next video, I'm going to go ahead and get it set up for fishing, and then we're going to take it out on a trip and see how it does in the sand. Comments? Throw it down below.